Winner winner chicken dinner is a figurative sentence originating from Latin America tens of centuries ago. At that time the economic conditions were very stifling, so that even one serving of chicken became a very luxurious thing. Then many looked for their fortune by gambling, and the winner sentence winner chicken dinner was then finally shouted for people who managed to win gambling bets that cost a chicken dinner. This time guys will tell you about the story of a group of students from a well-known university. Amit, who tried to bankrupt the casino. The group has a mathematical formula to make a win absolute in every game of blackjack. As usual guys put the set up, stay away from the crowd, listen carefully. And here comes the story of 21 Blackjack 2008. The face of this film begins by featuring a man named Band, who volunteered himself for a free college scholarship at Harvard. In that meeting with Professor Philip the Band, when did he have research on robots and also had good grades from the medical entrance exam, and he was also the chairman of the Math Champion in America. Unfortunately the scholarship was only given to one person, and currently there are 76 people who want to get the scholarship, with the word other than that the scholarship recipient is not seen from being smart and intelligent, but who is the most special from there. The Band begins to tell about his life experiences. The economic problems in his life made the Band have to give up their intention to study at Harvard and was forced to study at MI every day. Yes, they also spend a lot of time working or completing robot projects with their friends. The Band and their friends can be called Cooper and Kupu students. They often spend time together as three and discuss the projects, and not infrequently on various occasions the Band also feel jealous of his friends who looking happy as if there was no burden in his life. The following days the Band went through like other MIT students, because this Band was classified as a smart student. Not infrequently in every class he became the attention of his lecturers, including Milky, who at that time taught. He was impressed with the cleverness of the Band that could answer his questions. One time when the Band was having fun doing their assignment, a student suddenly came and took him to a room. The Band was there. Then they met with some other students. They were Fizr, Joy, Kayana and also Jill. Even the Band also met with their lecturer, Mickey, who was apparently very impressed with the cleverness of the Band that he always showed when he taught, and because of that privilege Mickey then offered the Band to join their team and take part in a card game called Blackjack every week. Armed with the intelligence that he had, Mickey, absolutely sure that Blackjack would win, brought the Band to something that was very profitable and also led him to become an extraordinarily rich person. But because the Band at that time was still confused about what their intentions and clarity were, he finally refused. With the reason that every week he was busy working on a project with his friends. On one occasion when the Band was working, suddenly Jill appeared to buy a tie. The Band of course was very nervous, because apparently he liked Jill, but luckily he was able to calm down and start serving Jill properly. In their conversation Jill finally explained as to his true intentions. He came there, which turned out to be to suggest that the Band go with him to Las Vegas, and before he left, Jill again reassured him that if he came to Vegas he would be whatever he wanted to be. Long story short, in the room Mickey was giving a briefing about the game of blackjack to some of the students who were there. Unfortunately, of all those present, no one was able to answer the question, until finally one voice answered very correctly. It turned out to be the Band that finally decided to join them. Since the day he joined, the Band began to deepen about the game of blackjack with his teammates. From recess, during class, the Band never fails to learn and memorize every card, and to make playing with his team easier, he also memorizes some numbers expressed in words, and a few days later he can quickly memorize and understand the game that will be played. They do later. On one occasion the Band again told Mickey about the reason why you want to join. All of that was none other than because he was indeed struggling with the cost to continue his studies at Harvard Medicine. After he was sure that he got as much as $300,000 he would quit the game, and Mickey replied that he understood what the Band wanted, and the Band didn't have to. Afraid because counting cards is very safe and not illegal. One night Mickey told Joy to explain the rules of the game. So later, like this guys, from the 5 people 3 people will look for a table and start counting the cards that come out. After all of them are counted, one person will then come into play there and make big bets. After succeeds in winning with that bet, then he will move to another table where the cards have also been counted previously, so that, with this random system, they will not be caught. But if there is a problem or there is a forgetting to count the cards, then someone will give a sign to stop betting and immediately off the table. Arrived at the weekend, the band looks so enchanted by the magnificent city of Las Vegas that never sleeps, a city full of dozens of casinos and people who have a dream to get rich from every game that is there. When they arrive at the hotel, which is quite luxurious, Mickey immediately shared a fake identity, all so that they looked old enough and allowed to enter the casino. In addition, Mickey also made it clear to the band that after entering they must appear to not know each other, while he himself would guide and supervise them. In the game, the waiting time arrived. The band seemed to start paying attention to their friends who were already at the table. After he got the code, he immediately went down and placed a big bet. Card after card came out of the dealer's hand, and there was no need to be confused by the band. Can already guess where he should place the bet. As time went on, at each table the band won victory after victory quite easily, and when the morning came the band came out with quite a lot of wins. In the afternoon the band was woken up by Jill, and gave a sum of money quotient from last night's achievements, and he also commended that the band never miscounted cards and was able to get more out of Fizzer. Band of course very happy to hear the compliment from his crush. But he also revealed that he would only play until he could pay his tuition to get into Harvard. Not long after, Mickey gathered the 5 of them to give a little direction. Here he also praised the band's extraordinary achievements and never miscalculated, while Fizzer actually got a warning for continuing to play when he was warned to withdraw. Night came, the band went back to the game area and waited for the code to place a big bet. On the other hand, a gambling supervisor called a gambling supervisor who got a warning from the casino owner that he had been negligent in monitoring the game, and as a result, the casino lost a lot last night. After they went home, according to Mickey's direction, the band was very secretive about their side job. In fact, he also kept all of that a secret from his mother, who previously wanted to give his savings money to increase tuition fees at Harvard, but the band refused the money and said that he has received a free college scholarship. Hearing this, of course, his mother is very happy, although in his heart the band is a little impatient. But considering that now he can get money easily, he also hopes that the savings will be better for his own mother as well as for his friends. He kept the secret of his friend, and he lied that last weekend he went to his brother's house and forgot to bring his phone. On the following weekend, the band and their team returned to Vegas. They also played quite well and managed to bring in big profits, even after several times the band went to Vegas. I didn't think that now the savings had reached $100,000, which is only $200,000 left to get it. Enough to pay tuition fees. In Boston the band was an ordinary student, but when he was in Vegas, especially when he got a very big win, he and his friends began to splurge there, shopping for everything they wanted, from expensive bags, shoes, to luxurious clothes, and not only that, they were walking around while partying in the excitement of Las Vegas. But apparently the band's successive victories were gradually suspected by the call. He and his colleagues suspected that the band had counted every card on the table. The casino owner was also sure that the band was not working alone, and there must be someone else behind it. And when Sunday then the band and their team came to play, they began to focus on the CCTV on the shirt the band was playing. That's where their suspicions began to be proven. In the recording it was seen that Kiana gave the code so that the band entered the game. Meanwhile, what happened at the table when Fizzer was drunk, started to make fun of and ignore the band's concentration. Apparently Mickey's earlier reprimand made FIZR feel competitive and finally a commotion ensued there. The incident of course made Mickey emotional. In fact, he immediately fired Fizzer from the team. Mickey reasoned that FIZR's performance was very detrimental and looked childish. After everything was settled, they returned to celebrate the victory by partying. Even now the band can be alone with Jill, and spend night together. When they returned to Boston, the band's friends felt that the band had really changed. They were also very disappointed with the band's indifference to the project they were working on together. Feeling Hattie Band no longer exists for that project, they finally decided to release the band with a heavy heart. The weekend came again, the game resumed, but it seems that the incident the band was kicked out of the project by his friend made him not focus on playing. Even Jill, who had reminded him he didn't pay attention to, and chose to play at a table where the cards were not clear, and because of his emotions that's why the band lost control, and lost badly for the first time. Mickey here of course very angry and disappointed because that night he lost more than $200,000 and he demanded him to pay for all the losses he had done. The band here of course could not pay the money at once, let alone sacrifice their savings, but Mickey was still adamant and didn't want to know that the band had to pay for all the losses last night. The band, deeply disillusioned by Mickey's behavior, finally lobbied his friends to continue playing one more night, using their own money as a stake. At first they didn't agree, but heard that the profits would be divided equally. They finally agreed and the game started again, but apparently when the game was running on the other side Mickey noticed, and started reporting the band's cheating to the casino supervisor, a call who had been suspicious from the start. Suddenly immediately moved quickly to arrest him there. The band was immediately interrogated and even beaten severely by him, until it was revealed that his identity was a college student and was in cahoots with his old enemy for 25 years, Mickey, so it's appropriate that he has never wanted to play live. Because he had been targeted and a fugitive from the casino in Las Vegas. When they returned to Boston, the band's suffering didn't seem over. In a letter, they threatened to be expelled from their college, even including their money that had been saved so far. Unlike the other two bandmates, they actually won the Project Robot competition that they had designed. The band, who was aware that they had disappointed them, finally apologized and told him everything that had happened so far. A few days later, because they didn't want to lose everything, the band went back to Mickey to apologize and express the desire to return to Vegas. Mickey, who also really needed money for his retirement, finally collaborated with the band again, provided that the band would be able to create a game with a very big advantage. The band here is sure that they can make a lot of profit in this last game as long as they want to play to replace FIZR so that they can get victory after victory quickly. Long story short, when they arrived in Vegas, they started to play according to the strategy they had previously planned. With big bets, the plan to reap as much profit as possible turned out to be running smoothly. Victory after victory they managed to achieve. Even Mickey also played and made the band overwhelmed. But when they were too engrossed in their victory, suddenly on the other side the call with his men came. Then a chase took place there. With all their might they each started running to save themselves. In a state of being almost cornered, Mickey suggested to split up, and asked the band to hand over the chips they had got, and the last one he planned to wait for them at the place that had been promised earlier, when in fact he planned a cunning to go straight to the airport and leave the band and friends as bait to be arrested. But once guys, he was wrong. It's time. From the chip underneath it was just a bunch of chocolate, and in the taxi it turned out to be the casino supervisor. It turned out that this was all planned, and all of this started when the band was interrogated by Cole. There the call offered an agreement to the band to bring Mickey to Vegas, with the answer that all the band's problems would be solved, now about the chip. With Jill, where while in pursuit of the Call's men they exchanged it for the brown bag they had previously prepared. Unfortunately, when he was going home and the plan had been successfully carried out, the Call instead asked for the chip to guarantee his retirement. There he also threatened to shoot the band if he refused, but it turned out that everything the band had prepared carefully, because at the casino it turned out that two of his project friends joined play. At least the band can go home with a bit of a win. Now that's the story of the band's past that was revealed to Professor Pillows, as the story that he thought was the most special from the other scholarship candidates. And do you guys think this band will qualify for a scholarship for the story? Maybe the lesson we can take from this film is, try to stay humble, even though it turns out that we have advantages over others. Don't be easily manipulated, let alone get into a problem without us not being able to take advantage of the advantages we already have. Remember guys, smart actually doesn't feel that he is smart, like the science of rice getting older the more he bends down. And one more thing, gambling will only take everything we have, not give what we want to have. Thank you very much for watching this video guys, hope you enjoy it and see you in the next video. Bye bye.